I don't have a relationship with my mother. Just being completely open and transparent. He's probably gonna kill me for sharing this. Will you go back to work as a flight attendant? Do you get along with your ex's partner? I haven't seen my ex-husband in, I don't even know, it's been a couple of months. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my get to know me Q&A that I was meant to do weeks ago, but all my questions got lost. So I re-asked them over on Instagram. If you don't follow me over there, go follow me now, because if you follow me over there, you can get involved in more videos like this. I'm just gonna jump straight into it because Evie's just gone down for her nap and I want to get as many of these done while she's sleeping as I can. The first question is, how many guys did you date before meeting Luke? I have had 4 serious-ish relationships before Luke. I had my first boyfriend when I was 16, my second boyfriend when I was 17, my third boyfriend when I was 18, and then I met my ex-husband towards the end of being 18, I think I was. And then obviously we got married, and then when we got divorced, I met Luke. Do you think you would ever speak to your mum again? Has she ever tried to get in contact with you, or is the damage done? Don't mean to offend you. I think I have actually quite a lot of questions about my relationship with my mother in this Q&A, which is interesting because I haven't had very many questions about it in the past. I don't have a relationship with my mother, and here is why. Because she's a crazy person. And I completely understand mental illness isn't a reason to just cut someone out of your life. I completely understand that she has a mental illness. She doesn't understand that she has a mental illness, and that's the problem. And there's only so much toxic behavior you can take as a person. And I dealt with a lot of toxic behavior from her my whole life. Since I can remember, I don't have very many positive memories of my mother. Just to put into perspective of the last thing that she did that I just went, fuck it, I'm not talking to her anymore. I changed my address without telling her, and that annoyed her. So she got really angry at me, and she got her partner to talk to me, and he actually threatened to do some things to me that are punishable by jail time. I don't know, I don't want to say it because I don't want to get demonetized, but things that women are scared of as they walk the street. He threatened to do those things, and then also he threatened to kill my dad, which is not fun. Like that was just what he did on the phone. That was just one of the many, like hundreds and hundreds of things that have happened with this woman in my life. And I was pregnant with my first daughter at the time that this happened, and I just went, you know what? No, like I am not dealing with this anymore, because it's not just my life that's at stake. I'm bringing kids into the world now, and they are at risk now too. So no, I personally could deal with all of the toxic things, and I understood that it was her mental illness that was the cause of all of this. But when you bring kids into the picture, you have to think about their safety too. And just for the record, obviously I told her what her partner had said to me on the phone, and she just completely denied it and said, you're a crazy person, don't make this shit up. Like, that's just the type of person she is. So I could go on for like hours on a whole separate video of all of the shit that she's put me through and all of these horrible, horrific stories, but I'm not going to, because this is a Q&A. In answer to your question, no, I don't speak to my mother. We do not have a relationship. She has tried to get in contact with me multiple times, especially since having my daughters, but I'm not interested in subjecting my daughters to what I had to go through growing up. How did you meet Talia's dad? I met Talia's dad through mutual friends at a birthday party. We had so many mutual friends from going to school with the same people, but we didn't go to school together, if that makes sense. We were bound to meet eventually. If it's not too personal, why do you not have a relationship with your mum? Yeah, so like I said, I've got a lot of these questions. I can't sit like this, I'm too old. I have a lot of these questions in this video. If you are interested in a more in-depth specific video about her and why we don't have a relationship, let me know in the comments. I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in. It seems like a lot of you are interested in that topic. When was the last time you saw your mum and spoke to your mum? The last time I saw my mother, I think it was at my first wedding in 2015. So it's been 5 years since I've seen my mother. And I've spoken to her when Talia was under 1 and she's almost 3. So that's a couple of years ago, and that was on complete accident. She called me on a private number, and I don't usually answer private numbers, but for some reason I did this day, and it was her. Long story short, it ended in her like lying about everything in the past about it's a whole other story. But we spoke for like maybe half an hour, and she was asking to meet Talia at the time, and I just said I need time to think about it, and I haven't spoken to her since. I had a pretty rough childhood. How did you cope with what you went through with your mum? Any advice? I'm sorry if a lot of you aren't interested in the whole mum conversation, because it's coming up a lot. I have a copy here. How did I deal with it? I have a fucking fantastic father. That's how I dealt with it. I was super lucky to have an amazing dad to put my whole life into perspective for me. My mother has, not diagnosed, but just from what I've read up on, has Munchausen by proxy, where she hurts her children to get sympathy and attention from other people. So when I was being fed information of I'm sick and things like this from her, I would go to dad, and he's super down to earth and like level-headed, and he'd be like, what? No, that, like, just don't listen to her. And he would ground me and give me correct information. And as a child, it's extremely confusing having information being fed to you from a parent that you're supposed to trust, and you know that's your mum. But my dad's super down to earth, and he just tells it how it is. And if I didn't have him in my life, I think I would be completely fucked up, if I'm being completely honest with you. Any advice? I think my advice would be to be open and honest with whatever you're going through in your life with the people that are closest to you. Tell it how it is, explain how you're feeling, talk to someone basically. If you need to go see a professional, then do that. But for the most part, I personally just spoke to my dad, and he was more than enough to make me realize that what was going on in reality. Where would you like to take Luke and the kids for a family holiday once COVID-19 is over? Flights are super expensive, and flying with a bunch of kids does not sound great, but if I had to pick somewhere to go with all of us, it would be Townsville. I have friends there, and also Luke's mum and Luke's mum's partner lives in Townsville as well. So I would love to go take all the kids up there and visit. I love Townsville to visit, but would not recommend living there. Do you have a hidden talent? I don't think so. I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I'm literally not good at anything. I used to be pretty good at singing, but I'm not anymore. I kind of stopped doing that. How do you and Luke get time to be intimate with the baby sharing the same room as you and the kids at home? Oh my goodness, this is a good one. When it comes to sex, that's something that I've just learnt to do with the baby in the room when she's asleep. I can't even think about it if she's awake. Obviously, having small children impacts your sex life immensely, but there has been times where during the day, just being completely open and transparent, he's probably gonna kill me for sharing this. Like while we've had all the kids home and they've been like playing the PlayStation or they're preoccupied upstairs and Evie's been asleep, we've like escaped to a room, locked the door, or like hidden around a corner and done some stuff. I wouldn't, at the moment we're pretty limited with sex because I'm not on birth control, but you just take any chance that you get basically. When it comes to us anyway, personally, any opportunity we see where we have 5 minutes to ourselves, we take that opportunity. If you could be granted a new skill immediately, what would it be? The skill to manifest money. Is that a thing? I don't know. Best sex you've ever had. What does this mean? Like best person that or like specific encounter? I'm not sure. I think the best sex I've ever had would be Luke, because when there's a really strong emotional connection with someone, You can't beat that sex. That's just personally for me anyway. If I don't have a strong emotional sorry, it's my washing machine in the background. If I don't have a strong emotional connection with someone, it's not great. How are you coping without Luke there? I'm actually doing pretty well. For those of you who don't know, my husband works in the mines. He's just recently got a job out there, so he works out there 1 week on and 1 week off. I'm actually coping really well. I've come down with a really good routine when he's gone, and I'm dealing with it much better than I thought I would. Did you do anything illegal in your teenage years? I think underage drinking would probably be one of them. I was actually a pretty good teenager when it comes to being or doing illegal things. I think a lot of that had to do with how my dad raised me. He was kind of the person that was like, you can do whatever you want, but if you're gonna do naughty stuff like drugs or whatever, come to me so that you can get them from me. I know that sounds terrible, but to this day I've never touched drugs because of how he raised me. Will you go back to work as a flight attendant? No, I don't think so, unfortunately. It's just one of those jobs that's too hard to do when you have kids. And especially now that Luke's working away, we just never see each other. What's your favorite and least favorite childhood memory? See, here's the thing. I don't have a least favorite childhood memory because I know all of the horrible shit that happened to me as a childhood has made me who I am today. So I don't look back on those things being like, oh, woe is me. That was such a shit thing. I wish that didn't happen. Because I wouldn't be the person I am today. I wouldn't be as strong as I am today if all of that didn't happen to me as a kid. So I know that's such a boring answer. Just in general, I guess I didn't enjoy being around my mother as a child, but like I said, I wouldn't change it. And my favorite childhood memory is growing up on the ranch, on acreage, with my family surrounding me. That's what I'm trying to say. I lived with my dad and my 2 cousins and my auntie and my grandparents. We all lived on the ranch together, and that was a pretty cool experience growing up with my cousins. And obviously my brother lived there too. Sorry, Brandon. Have you always lived in Queensland? No, I was born in New South Wales, and then I moved to Queensland when I was like 3 or 4, I think I was. Not 100% sure, maybe 2, I don't know. Really, really young. When did you first move out of home? Funny story, I didn't move out of home first. My dad moved out of his house and left me there, if that makes sense. He met his wife and moved in with her while I was still living in his house. So I was working at that point and I just started paying him rent. So with that, does that count as the first time? I don't know. I think I was like 18 or something like that. If you could meet any YouTuber in the world, who would it be and why? I think it would be Brittany and Baby. I don't know why I love her so much. I don't watch a whole lot of overseas YouTubers, but I really, really enjoy her channel. I like her content. I like watching her channel. She's such a great mother, and I just love her channel. The majority of the people I follow are in Australia. Obviously, I've met some pretty cool people already, so not including them in the list, it would be Brittany and Baby. Pros and cons of going from having 1 child to having 2. I have recently noticed that Talia is being such a good big sister with Evie. She brings her toys if she's crying, and she'll like rattle things in front of her, and that is such an amazing thing to watch, and it's honestly really helpful. If I need to go to the toilet and Evie starts crying, Talia will jump up and like rattle something in front of her. And I think that's super special to see that bond develop, but also if I only had 1 kid, that didn't happen with Talia, if that makes sense. When I just had Talia, if she cried while I was in the toilet, she just cried. No one was there to help me. So I'd say that that's pretty cool, watching their bond and having a little helper throughout the day. What made you want to start YouTube? I actually have a tag that I'm just going to put up in the iCards wherever it is, and that's the YouTube mum tag, and that answers all questions surrounding my channel. Oh my god, there's so many questions left. I'm gonna try and smash through these as quickly as I can. What was it like being a flight attendant? Which airline did you work for, and was it good money? I loved being a flight attendant. It had its moments of not so greatness, but there were aspects of it that I loved and aspects of it that weren't so great. I loved the social side. I loved traveling and getting paid for it, and being put up in hotels and getting paid for it. The not so great side of being a flight attendant is you can't really have a life outside of it. You can't plan anything because things change, flights get cancelled, flights get delayed, people it just changes. So especially with a family, it would just be impossible. You can't plan anything. Which airline did I work for? I can't disclose that information due to paperwork that we sign when we get the job, but it wasn't one of your major airlines that you hear. It's more of a private airline. And was it good money? It depends on how much you work. So if you're working lots of hours, extended duties, and more than 16 days in a roster, which is a month, you get paid extra benefits. So on quiet months, it was like average. And then if you were working hard, it was pretty good money, yes. Do you get along with your ex's partner? Yes, I do. I actually exclusively only deal with her. I haven't seen my ex-husband in, I don't even know, it's been a couple of months. So when we do the handover, I go through his partner, and she's lovely. I really like her, and we get along really well, much better than I get along with my ex-husband. Would you ever consider seeing your mother again? No. Did you do any activities growing up? Sports, dancing, scouts, instruments, ECT? ETC? Yes, I did dancing for 11 years and I've got nothing to show for it. I'm the worst freaking dancer. I can't, I'm so uncoordinated, and I've got the memory of a damn goldfish, so I can't remember steps. I'm really sorry, you can probably hear my washing machine, but this is the only time I can film this video. I feel like the dancing set me up for a good fitness level growing up. I think if I didn't dance for 11 years, I would not be as slim as I am today. Do you have any siblings? Do you get along, and what are they like? I do have a sibling. I have a brother. He's 20. How old am I? He's 25, I think. I think he's 25. He's special needs. He's highly special needs. You can't have a conversation with him. So we get along, but you can't fight with someone that can't talk. He's such a lovely, lovely kid. I think if he was normal and didn't have his like mental illness, like severe disability, he would have just been such a sweetheart as well. He is a sweetheart now, if you know what I mean, but if he could talk, you'd really, really see it. Were you a naughty teenager? Are you scared of the teen years with your kids? I don't think, like I said, I don't think I was a naughty teenager. I feel like I was actually a really good teenager. Ask my dad, I'm probably wrong. But I'm not scared of the teenage years with my kids. I am so looking forward to the teenage years. I know everyone says that it's really, really rough, but I'm just looking forward to it. I'm so happy that Lily is coming up to being a teenager. Sorry, my camera was cutting out because I was reaching 25 minutes on the recording time. Yeah, no, I'm not scared of it. I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, I like this question. Will you be a sex positive family and talk openly with the kids? Will Luke's ex be okay with it? Yes, I would. I grew up in a sex positive household, and my dad and I openly spoke about sex. And I feel like that is a huge reason that I'm so open and honest to this day. So I 100% plan on being sex positive, open discussion in the household mum. However, it's not my place to be that person for Luke's kids. I would not be going and openly discussing that with them without Luke's and the kids' mother's approval, if that makes sense. Look, if they come up and ask me a question that I feel is not too out there, of course I'm going to answer it. But I also have the kids' mum's number and obviously Luke's number as well. So I feel like I could very easily just send them a text message and see how they feel about it. It's not my place to sit down and have the birds and the bees talk with them, if that makes sense. But if something happens and they do come to me and confide in me, of course I'm going to nurture that and encourage them to feel like they can count on me for things like that. When it comes to my kids, 100% I'm going to be super open and honest. I plan on being exactly like my dad was as a parent growing up, as much as I can be. Is it super difficult with the kids now that Luke works in the mines? No, I wouldn't say so. The days that Luke's away, I get 2 nights with just Talia and Evie, 3 nights with just Evie, and then 3 nights with all 4 kids. And I feel like it's a really good balance. It's a good mixture of everything, and I actually really enjoy it, which surprises me. Anyway guys, that's all the time that I have to answer questions. I'm so sorry if I didn't get to your question. There were so many over on Instagram. I tried to answer as many as I could. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe below if you want to follow our journey, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!